Hello, great people. Candidate of the Labour Party in the 2023 presidential election, Mr. Peter Obi, has slammed the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike. In a no-holds-barred interview, Mr. Peter Obi rained heavy knocks on the Minister of FCT and President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for spending about 39 billion naira to renovate the Abuja International Conference Center that has now been named after President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. In a moment, I'll leave you to watch the video of Mr. Peter Obi's strong remarks against the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike. But before I do that, let me lay some background. Mr. Peter Obi made that remarks in Chibok upon discovering that the schools in that community lacked basic amenities. And Mr. Peter Obi was there to help out by donating some educational materials, including laptops and other amenities, and he also donated 6 million naira to the school. We'll watch the video of Mr. Peter Obi's strong remarks against the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike. Then when we come back, I'll be telling you the background of the conflict between Mr. Peter Obi and the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, and the lessons therein, and the 2027 implication and dynamics. Then we'll be looking at the conduct of the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, the prudency in public service, the level of accountability, the level of scrutiny, checks and balances, and how the President, Bola Ahmed Tinubu's interaction with the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, can either make or mar his chances in 2027. We'll be doing all this and a whole lot more on this episode with your sure plug, Dr. Omosholade. First, let us go and watch the video of the strong remarks that Mr. Peter Obi had against the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike. Then we come back for some great discussion. Let's watch it.
We live in a country where we, the politicians, spend billions traveling all over the world, partying, renovating houses with billions. We've just finished renovating a conference center with 39 billion naira. When our children in school don't have lab, they don't have computer, their classrooms are leaking, they don't have water, they don't have library. Which society is this? That alone can buy 1,000 laptops. And if we give it to the school on average of 10 pieces each, look at the number of schools that will be able to receive that. What conference are we having? The ones we have had in the past, have we utilized it? So it's time to prioritize what is critical in our development, which number one is education. It's time to prioritize the health of the people, prioritize pulling people out of poverty, prioritize their safety.
There you have it. You just watched the video of Mr. Peter Obi and you heard his strong remarks as regards prudency and policy priority of the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, and by extension the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Mr. Peter Obi made this remark in Chibok, where he went to donate some educational material to a school in that community. Before I come back to the issue of Chibok and the associated issues as regards politics and prudency, let me first touch on the background of the crisis between the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, and presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi. Now, in the 2023 presidential election, you will recall that Nyesom Wike had an issue with the candidate of his party, the PDP, Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. So, Nyesom Wike at some point seemed to be striking a deal with Mr. Peter Obi, but all of a sudden, he decided to switch alliance and he supported the candidate of the APC at that time, now incumbent President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. So after the election, both have not had so much of a cordial relationship. Now, fast forward to recent development. In a recent media chat, Nyesom Wike referred to Mr. Peter Obi as a social media candidate and he rubbished his ability to win a presidential election. At that point in time, the Obedience never took it lightly with the Minister of FCT. They had a lot of strong remarks against him. And now, Mr. Peter Obi, when he was in Chibok, he had an opportunity to fire back at the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, as regards his prudency and his priority of public service delivery. Now, let us go back into the issue of Chibok. But first, I haven't touched on Nyesom Wike. Let me speak about the conduct of Mr. Peter Obi as regards his action in Chibok. You see, politicians in Nigeria often make sense and do right when they are not in power. If you look at Mr. Peter Obi very well. He seemed to be all shades of correctness. But then, don't be carried away by that, because this seem to be the features of Nigerian politicians when they are not in power. You will recall that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu was screaming that, oh, let the poor breathe, don't suffocate them. But now, the poor could hardly breathe in his government. So, Mr. Peter Obi has been making sense just like every other Nigerian politician when they are not in power. But then, let them get that power. You will see that they may be doing things that are not in tandem with the people. And Mr. Peter Obi, kudos to him, most of his policies and actions have largely been people-centric. If you look at his action, if you look at his orations, if you look at his policy assertions, they have largely been people-centric. But then again, I'm a bit skeptical in the sense that, as I said, Nigerian politicians, when they are not in power, they make a whole lot of sense. They are one of, the most articulated people when it comes to policies. But when they get there, things tend to change. Now, let us go into the issues raised by Mr. Peter Obi in that particular video. Mr. Peter Obi raised some cogent issues. He asserts that Nigerian schools don't have light, computer, water, library, and other social amenities. Is he right or wrong? Well, if you have schooled in Nigeria before, you will know that Mr. Peter Obi's assertion is largely correct, particularly in government-owned schools. You may find all these amenities in private schools that are largely expensive, but then when you go to government schools, you will see that most of these amenities like electricity, computer, water, library, they are not available or they are insufficient. And these things is a major issue because education is the bedrock of a logical society. Now, Mr. Peter Obi asserts that laptops should have been given to schools, that the Tinubu government should have used the 39 billion naira to provide laptop and other amenities to schools like Chibok across Nigeria. Well, kudos to Mr. Peter Obi in that regard, because I rate that as advocating for the digitalization of education, and which is something that we need. Nigeria still operates their educational system as if they were still in the Stone Age era. So kudos to Mr. Peter Obi for thinking about digitalization of education. But if I may add, before thinking of digitalizing education, can the Tinubu administration just try to provide the basic amenities first before going into digitalization of education? Fix the roof that are leaking, and the state governors have a lot to do in this regard as well. It's not only the federal government, but people blame the federal government because the federal government have so much powers at its disposal. We operate a form of unitary system of government where power is concentrated at the central, but then we target federalism. So the state government has a lot of work to do in that regard as well, but the federal government should do its own part and lead by examples. Let all the unity schools, which they usually call federal government college, let them be in good shape and taste. Then the federal government, headed by Bola Ahmed Tinubu, will have the effort to speak to the schools, to speak to the state government to emulate that which he has set out to do. And kudos to Mr. Peter Obi again for asserting or for advocating for the digitalization of education in Nigeria. Indeed, if you compare Nigeria's education to that of other countries, particularly the Western world that we like to emulate, Nigeria education is almost zero. And I'll give you an example. How do you conduct research without electricity? Research is the bedrock of a university. Universities are supposed to conduct research that would make life convenient, that would make life easy for their host communities and countries. But how many research is being conducted in Nigerian universities because they don't even have constant electricity? How do you conduct research without electricity? How do you conduct research without funding? How do you conduct research without the availability of basic amenities? So the government needs to look into this as asserted by Mr. Peter Obi, and government should prioritize, according to Mr. Peter Obi, pulling people out of poverty. I absolutely agree with that. The poverty in Nigeria is enormous, and government should prioritize safety as well. I also agree with Mr. Peter Obi in that regard, in the sense that the essence of government is the security of life and properties. And if you read the evolution of state, according to the social contract theory, you will recall that state exists to secure lives and property, and that's why people usually popularly assert that the security of life and property is the primary purpose of government. Now, let us leave Mr. Peter Obi. Let us go back to the Minister of FCT, Nyesom Wike, and look at some of the things that Mr. Peter Obi said as regards his policy priority. Now, how would you spend 39 billion naira to renovate the International Conference Center? 39 billion naira. I think the cost of that renovation is overly outrageous. 39 billion naira. You see, that renovation, let me give you an example. You can compare that renovation, that 39 billion naira cost of renovating that place. I think Ibrahim Babangida built that place for about 280 million naira, and you are now renovating it for 39 billion naira. Just renovation. You are not laying the foundation. You are not kind of like building the blocks. I don't know whether they change the roofing of the place, but just, you know, renovation and turnaround maintenance. 39 billion naira. That is too outrageous. And that particular project, if you are a supporter of the APC government and Nyesom Wike, if you see that project as absolutely okay, but you criticize Babachi Lawal, the former secretary to the government of the Federation, for spending 500 million naira to eradicate the, I think he used a term at that point in time, invasive species, which is grass. You know, he used, should I call it a botanical name? I don't know whether I'm correct in that regard. I call it invasive species. 500 million naira. So if you criticize Babachi Lawal at that point in time and you are supporting Mr. Peter Obi now, then you are not being fair. And the renovation can also be likened to the $5 million house renovation of Mrs. Patricia Ete. It can also be likened to the 200 million naira budgetary allocation for borehole in the 2025 budget. So we need to look at the accountability in public service and the cost of these public amenities that is being provided by the government. But then again, education, as asserted by Mr. Peter Obi, should be a priority, and it should not only be education, poverty eradication as well, and security should be a priority. So that is 3 priorities set for the government: education, poverty eradication, and security. I wish Bola Ahmed Tinubu the best of luck, and I hope that he will succeed and deliver the dividends of democracy to Nigerians as advocated in his renewed hope agenda. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode with your show blog, Dr. Omoshola. Did you subscribe? Turn on your notification button. Catch up with my past video. See you in my next video. I love you all sincerely.